And switching to IPO space with Eastern Metals, the latest in our growing list of explorers heading for the local bourse. Trading under the RIC EMS, the company is a junior base and precious metals explorer with initial interests in Northern Territory and New South Wales. The miner also has copper, zinc, silver, gold. Well, all they've done very well recently. And they've raised $6 million at 20 cents a share, giving it a market cap of over $10 million. MD is Wayne Rossiter, and after ringing the bell, he joins us right now. Good day so far. I can see here up a handy 15%. Is that a nice success there?
Yeah, look, very pleased with the volume of trade in, the price that's been achieved, but more importantly, it's really pleased about being listed after a almost 17-month process in acquiring these assets and taking them through the ultimately the IPO process. So really excited to be funded, to be listed, and to get on with business.
What's going to be the primary focus now? So you've got a few assets on your books at the moment. Which one are you going to be targeting, or is it all three at this stage?
Yes, well, it's really interesting. We acquired these assets out of Wesfarmers, our flagship assets, and they acquired those when they bought Kidman Resources to acquire the Mount Holland lithium project. So the two flagship assets, it's our Arunta project, which hosts the home of Bullion copper mine. It is going to exist in JORC resource on it. That's 2.5 million tonnes at 2.8% copper equivalent, but it's open. It's a VMS system, and there's multiple EM and structural targets to expand on that. So it's all about, we've got grade, but we need to build the tonnage. So that's high in our priority list for drilling. But what's interesting about the Barrow Creek project, it's not just prospective for copper. There's also another project or deposit called Prospect D, which has got high grade nickel and copper grades from previous drilling that needs to be followed up on. And the entire project sits within the Barrow Creek pegmatite field, so it's prospective for lithium, and there's been no work done on that historically. So we have quite a big program to get moving at Barrow Creek in our Arunta project, and it's going to start with some reconnaissance work on lithium and also site preparation for our upcoming 9-hole drilling program. But our first drilling is probably going to be at Browns Reef in New South Wales. And that's just purely because of logistics and timing and all those sort of things. And it's the other project we acquired from Wesfarmers, and it's a big zinc, silver, lead system, but with sniffs of copper and gold at depth and potentially elsewhere. It's a typical Cobar basin style system, and it was drilled by Kidman. They established a very large exploration target, and they drilled only the eastern flank in a narrow area of what's a large syncline. It's got 27 to 37 million tonnes as its exploration target. What's been drilled is relatively low grade, but within that there's been ore grade and ore width intercepts. And so there's 16 kilometres of strike if you add up both sides of the syncline, so there's ample room to host one or more economic ore bodies. So we'll be drilling there first, and that's going to be a 7-hole program following up on some of those high grade and ore width hits that were drilled in the past, really just to see if we can step those out and start working up something that could be economic. Our third project, the Thompson project, we don't have any drilling in our IPO budget for that. We'll be seeking joint venture partners, and that's a higher risk but high reward style project. They're magnetic bullseye shaped anomalies that are exact copycats for what led to the discovery of the CSA Endeavour mine in those famous mines in Cobar. There has been drilling done in their past, but the consensus view by the drillers and the department is that the target's been missed, and the consensus view is that they're actually not in Thompson Fold Belt, but rather it's Cobar basement. So really interesting set of projects. So first drilling will be at Browns Reef, and that will be happening in November.
Now, of course, Wayne, you just sort of dropped a quick one there. It's been 17 months in the making, but let's face it, commodity prices have certainly been your friend in the interim. When do you get to capitalise on these high prices?
Well, we're a long way from production, that's for sure. But that being said, we have that resource, the copper resource at Homer Bullion. So, that's something which we're really, really keen to work up. And the team that we've got here at Eastern Metals, we've all got experience in taking projects from exploration through resource evaluation and estimation, through feasibility and into operations. So there's a lot of experience. The founders of the company, myself, Bob Duffin and Gary Jones, have worked together in the past. Both Bob and Gary cut their teeth together at Geo Pico back in the day. So and Gary, he's credited with the discovery of North Parks and did all the early work down at Lake Cowell, so he knows this terrain really well. And our principal geophysicist, Bob Richardson, he's the son of the doyen of geophysics in Australia, and he's credited with the discovery of the Juno project at Tennant Creek, which is completely blind. So a lot of experience on the team.
Just to go finish off, one thing that comes up a lot with the junior explorers out there is just issues to find staff, cost inflation, delays in getting assays back. What are you seeing when it comes to what your expectations are for getting those results back?
Yeah, look, we've got drilling contractors. We haven't signed them up yet, but we've agreed timings, and we're just working through the commercial aspects of those agreements now. So they're going to fit in with our timetable. Unfortunately, assays, you've just got to run with the delays that are out there. There's not much you can do about that. We know a number of different labs we can use, and we'll just work through those on what can get our results out the quickest. But in the interim, there's other technologies you can use like XRFs to give you a read on exactly what you're seeing besides the visual inspection of core. So there's that. Cost inflation, it's interesting. Look, the quotes that we've had come back on drilling have not been unreasonable. They've certainly been the ballpark of what we expected, and to be frank, I was thinking that cost pressures on drilling contractors may have been higher than what we've seen. But look, our initial programs are diamond programs. What we're hearing is that RC rigs are very hard to come by, but diamond rig availability, at least in New South Wales, that's certainly there at this point of time. So that's positive. So we're not having to wait too long to get rigs available. In terms of staffing, really tough. We've just our senior exploration geologist joined us today on the day of listing. So welcome, Samantha, and we've been able to lever our quite extensive network of contacts of people that we know through the industry to be able to circumvent some of those issues, and so that's been very pleasing for us, because it was something we were a little bit worried about getting staff. But we're a small team, and we'll keep it lean. We don't need a cast of thousands to do the sort of work we're planning to do, and we have the expertise in running those programs, and more importantly, running them leanly. We're going to be very measured and economical with where we spend our drill dollars, and we'll build that database that we've already got. Kidman spent $9 million on our flagship assets in exploration, so we've got a fabulous database to work off, and so we can be very targeted in the work we do.
Well, Wayne, thank you for joining us on the program. It's probably been a pretty busy day, and congratulations on going public. I look forward to checking in your progress in the near future.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time today. Thank you.